Welcome to another episode of Crosstalk. My name is Kevin Tocci, and I will be your host for the next 30 minutes. Now, as you have come to know this particular program that we have here on Whitman Community Access, we try to utilize the program as a different vehicle for certain town things, whether it's Whitman or Hanson, whether it's an activity, maybe it's an upcoming event, maybe it's political. Maybe it's just to have a conversation. Well, we've kind of taken it into another direction this year, and actually today, as we're going to get to know a particular town department and kind of get an idea of a certain thing that if you're a homeowner, if you're somebody who owns a vehicle, etc., you're going to get to understand the conversation that we're talking about as far as the assessor's office at Whitman Town Hall at 54 South Avenue. Joining me today is the Principal Assessor herself, Kathleen Keefe. Kathleen.
Hi, nice to be
Kathy,
here.
welcome to the show.
Thank you.
First and foremost, I just want to tell folks, when I walked into Kathy's office, and anytime I see Kathy, very friendly person, and was like, I have an idea, I'd like to have you come in. Very receptive to the idea, and it's kind of a win-win, because there's a lot of times, I can't tell you how many times I have sat in a in-town meeting, or if I sat at a selectmen's meeting and a conversation is had in regards to how taxes are classified, about how things are assessed, how assessments go up, how they go down. And I think sometimes folks mostly get it, but some folks don't understand. Would you say that's a fair assessment or no?
I'd say that's an absolutely fair assessment. And I think once people are understanding the way it works, they're much more comfortable with everything involved, their bills, their valuations. So we would like to see everybody sort of be on board and happy with those things.
Give us a little bit of a background on yourself. What got you into being an assessor? You're somebody who's always been good with numbers, somebody who's always understood municipal science. What is it?
Well, so the total honest answer is that I was in the right place at the right time. Jobs that I had prior to taking the job with the town had been bookkeeping and in accounting departments. But however, I was looking for full-time work when my youngest daughter, was halfway through high school. I had previously been an at-home mom and only working part-time. So I answered the ad and interviewed with the 3-member board of assessors at that time and was offered the job and took it. So I, started out in the office as the clerk.
Wow.
Right.
So how did you climb to be the principal assessor? Because I would think that you are kind of like, you're at the top of the pile, so to speak, yes?
Again, being at the right place at the right time. So I did start in at the clerk, where I was in that position for 3 years. The 2 employees who were above me were both of retirement age. So the administrative assistant retired, and then the following year, the principal assessor retired. So, I was the one remaining employee in the department. I was very interested in, taking the job, and the 3-member board was very receptive to allowing me to give it a shot.
And this is something like, this is a lifetime thing. You have to basically be appointed annually, correct?
That is correct. That is correct. So I report to a 3-member board. The 3-member board is appointed by or voted on by the town. So each member's term expires, it's staggered. So 1 year it's one person. But yes, so every May I look to be reappointed.
What do you feel are the unique things about your office and the things that you handle? What do you feel that, we all do certain little things, like I do the TV thing. I enjoy it. I love doing it. What is it about your job that you really enjoy and that you love and you look forward to helping and educating the public?
Well, you know what, it's problem solving. It's something different every day. So, although we perform the same duties within the year, every day something comes up that you've maybe not dealt with before, an issue comes up, or a problem with a particular taxpayer comes up. When we resolve the problems, it's wonderful. And although, our office may not be 100% accurate with all our records, that's what we look for. We really strive for accuracy.
Do you have, I think of somebody who you mentioned coming from a background in accounting. Would you say it's safe to say that being an assessor, being a principal assessor, that office has a busy season? See what I did there? A busy season.
Yes. Well, we do have a busy season. So our busiest season is early fall in through the tax rate setting time period. So in order for the treasurer collector to get her bills out January 1st, we have to have the valuation of the town certified by the Department of Revenue, and at that point then we can go on to get the tax rate set. So there is a crush and crunch to get that tax rate set prior to the bills going out January 1.
So you mentioned the treasurer collector. What other offices, do you feel like you're like one of the main cogs in town hall, that you're working in conjunction with other departments, whether it's the town clerk's office or
Yes.
selectman's office, et cetera?
So yes, I work more closely with the treasurer collector because it is to the treasurer collector that we commit the bills. So the real estate and personal property bills are initiated in the assessor's office and they go through the collector to be billed out. So it's sort of a cause and effect relationship with the collector. And I just want to say we have a wonderful relationship, and she is a wonderful, Mary Beth Carter, wonderful person to work with.
And how, and I think working relationships are everything. I think if you're able to be on the same page, if you have a situation or a problem, that if you all gel and you work together,
right,
and that it makes for a good environment, and it's good for when it comes to customer service too.
I agree with that 100%. So yes, I couldn't be more pleased with the working relationship I have with the treasurer collector.
Talk to me about assessments. What are some of the things? How did you go about? How is it gone about when it comes to assessing? What's assessed?
Okay, so yearly the assessor's office is charged with the tax of valuing the property in town at full and fair cash value. And that's our little thing, full and fair cash value. So for instance, January 1st is the assessment date, and we look at the sales from the year prior to come up with the assessments. But we don't look at all sales, we look at qualifying sales. And a qualifying sale would be what a willing seller would be willing to sell the property to a willing buyer. In other words, it's not under a forced situation or, geez, I need to get out of town and I need to dump.
Stuff like that.
Correct,
Yep.
Correct. So we look at those sales. So the assessments actually follow sales. So the sales happen first and the assessments happen 2-year lag.
Oh. So would it be safe to say it's kind of cyclical?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, so we follow the market. So just as if the market's going down, your assessment still may be high because it's a 2-year lag.
Right.
When, the sale goes up, your assessment may be lower because we're following the market.
What do you feel? What's the importance of your office when it comes to assessments and how it helps the town and how it helps the community?
Well, first of all, we would love our assessments to be 100% accurate. That's what we strive for, and we realize, every day that may not be the situation. But so our piece of the puzzle is the way the tax rate works is we're going to take what we need to raise, that is figured out at annual town meeting, a budget is voted upon, so we know we need to raise X amount of dollars. The assessor's piece of that puzzle is we're going to divide that tax burden over the valuation of the town. So to get that assessment right means we're really apportioning the total bill accurately.
Okay. How often do you have a chance to have conversations with other assessors in other communities or other assessor offices that might be, the city of Brockton has an assessor. I think
Right.
every community has a. How often do you get a chance to kind of mingle and have a conversation with folks that do like-minded work?
It's huge. It's huge. So I'm actually a part of Plymouth County Assessors Association.
Okay.
I am a past president of the association, and currently I'm the secretary treasurer.
Look at you.
Yeah. So it's Plymouth County is made up of I think it's 27 communities in Plymouth County. We hold regular meetings. We all know each other's phone numbers, and of course, the more experienced assessors, the ones who have been doing it for 20 or 30 years, are so receptive to mentoring some of us who are newer, younger, or less experienced. It's everything.
And that is very important, and that's kind of a good way of going about things. That there is a group that at least as a county, I know people always have questions about the county. We know that it's in flux, and will the county as a government stay together? But knowing that as a unit, that you have other assessors that you're able to meet with and talk with, and be able to share your experiences, whether it's as you're somebody who's been there longer, and you could share that, or learning from somebody who has the experience.
So the motto of the Plymouth County Assessors Association is assessors helping assessors. And that's exactly what happens. And at any event, no matter what the event, it always goes to shop talk. And, geez, I have this set of circumstances in my community. Who has dealt with that before? Or how did you handle this? Or what are we going to do? And I've never met one assessor who has not been thoroughly willing to come and help out.
That's admirable. I like hearing stuff.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you would think in some lines of work, people don't like competition, or you don't have people where they want to work together collectively to make sure that when it comes to customer service, or it comes to being accurate, as you pride yourself on being as accurate as possible, right? That's important.
It is.
I think the one thing that it's funny because during my career as a reporter, as a journalist, I've had to cover a number of times when conversation comes up about a Proposition 2.5 override, and folks wanting to get an idea as far as the taxes, the assessment, median prices. And one of the things that I do always hear when it comes to taxes or how things are assessed, what they pay, what is it that makes the assessment go up and down? Did we already touch upon that?
Yeah, so it's the sales. So it's the
that's
market
strictly
sales.
it.
Yeah, so right. And this is going to sound odd. It sort of doesn't matter what your assessment is, as long as your assessment is equitable to the taxpayer who has the same type of home, the same square footage. As long as we have the like properties being assessed likely, then that's where the evenness or the equitability comes in.
Okay. And you also play a role when it comes time to set a tax rate or a classification. What was it like the first time you had to, kind of speak to the Board of Selectmen and kind of give your point of view on it?
Right. Well, I was nervous. So the point of the classification hearing is for the Board of Selectmen to decide whether or not a community is going to have a split tax rate. So a split tax rate would be where the commercial type properties have a different tax rate than the residential. Communities who typically have a split tax rate are communities with a large commercial component. Hanover, Avon, and typically the commercial people pay a higher tax rate than the residential communities. I think in the history of Whitman, we've always maintained a factor of 1, which means the residential and commercial all pay the same tax rate. The commercial portion of the total real estate in Whitman is 10% or less.
Okay.
So I think the idea is, increasing the tax rate for those commercial entities that we have would possibly send them packing, or it certainly does not attract business to come in if they have to pay a higher rate.
Yeah, and it's odd that you mention that, because I know that it's the sister community to Whitman, Hanson, has something similar as well, where they have, I want to say, off the top of my head, 91% of Hanson is residential,
That's
and
correct.
there's a small nugget, and it's 5-6% that's commercial, and
Correct.
folks are like, wow, I don't want to have to, why do the residents have to bear the burden? Well, unfortunately, because the number is so high,
That's correct.
as far as residential, somebody has to bear the burden.
Right, right. And I think, Whitman is actually in the process of trying to attract some more business. We'd like to see some more business come to town. So, you would not attract that with a higher tax rate.
Right. What is the tax rate currently at right now? Do we?
Yes, it's $15.61 per $1,000 of valuation.
What is that? Do you ever look and see where Whitman ranks itself as far as a tax rate?
I do, but I also don't like to do that because the tax rate is based on Whitman's unique budget. So, another community, even if they're next door, if they're going to be spending more money, their tax rate's going to be higher. It all depends on what is decided at annual town meeting.
What was your thought? I mean, when you first became someone who worked for the town, attending town meeting, what was that? What's that like as someone who is an employee of the town, where you sit there and you watch people discuss certain things, whether it's government, how are we going to run the government side of things? Do we need to go up? People going line item by line item. We've made a transition from one moderator to another,
Right.
and it's usually what was that like for you?
Well, first of all, I have to applaud anybody and everybody who gets involved,
Sure.
because it can take a lot of time and effort, and lots of people do it without being compensated
Sure.
pay-wise. So first and foremost, the fact that you're in there trying, my hat's off to you. But I think you do need to do that to have a better understanding of the big picture.
Okay, but now, would you technically qualify as a department head?
I am the department head.
So basically, you would have to put together a budget for your department, right?
So yes, so I submit yearly a budget
What's
for
that like?
the assessor's department. Mine is a very minuscule budget. It's very manageable, mostly office supplies and dues and subscriptions and, paying for the deeds. Very manageable. That's actually one of the easier tasks.
See, I asked that, and I'm glad that we can kind of discuss it, because I've talked to department heads from all different communities.
Right.
And you look at today, probably the past 10 years, it hasn't been a piece of cake when you talk of finances. You're always hearing, whether it's somebody like the city of Brockton,
Right.
where the mayor decides their budget, and the city council, and then they have all the departments get up before the city council and say, well, please don't cut my budget. This
Right.
is all I have.
Right.
In these tough times, to hear, it's refreshing for you to kind of hear you say, "Oh, it's I do what I got.
Well,
I do what I have."
My budget is not the same as some other folks
Sure.
who deal with, for instance, the Board of Health or the clerk, that they have services that they have to make sure they have enough money for
Right.
the general public, and mine's probably just one of the more simplistic budgets.
What would you say is the most frequently asked question that you hear when someone comes into your office or comes in when dealing with your office?
Without a doubt, the number one question is, unfortunately, when people who have a mate that has passed or someone on their deed who has passed, it pretty much takes a year after we get that updated deed from the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds to get that name off the bill. So it's just a process. We legally assess the owner as of January 1st. So if a couple owns the property on January 1st and on January 2nd one of those couples unfortunately dies, it takes till the next January 1st to reassess the ownership.
Okay. Would that be so? That would be the top one. Is there something that's a close second or third that you can think of?
Well, we do have a lot of questions about, motor vehicle excise tax, and the one that will deal with that is
You look it off my sheet.
the valuation.
Right.
The valuation. So we don't value your automobile. It's based on the MSRP, and then it gradually goes down to 10%, where then it goes down no lower.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, your office does deal with when it comes to a motor vehicle excise tax, right?
Yes.
What's that like?
Well, so a lot of people, we do a lot of paperwork because if you receive your bill and you pay it, and then after you pay the bill, you dispose of your vehicle, of course, you're going to want some of that bill refunded to you, and we do that. That's a lot of paperwork, but we do that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And it's not just motor vehicle excise taxes that you do either.
No, in Whitman we also levy boat excise taxes. We get the list of boat owners from the Environmental Police, which is a state agency. We send out questionnaires to ask if the boat owners still own their boat or what's happened to their boat, and yes, we do.
How difficult is it, kind of digressing back to the motor vehicle excise tax, the difference between residential and dealing with somebody who has a business? I mean, is there much of a difference between having to deal with the two?
Okay, I'm not trying to understand your question. Try it once more.
Okay. Well, when you're talking about as far as you do not only residential when it comes to excise tax for motor vehicles, but you have businesses that come in.
Oh, we have personal property tax.
Okay.
We have personal property tax. That's probably the most difficult tax to understand because depending on the structure of the business will depend on what things are taxable.
Okay.
A little more sticky.
A little more sticky.
It is.
Wow. How about what would be the dirty part of your job? I'm being facetious. You also, when it comes to handling as far as the trash here in town.
Yes.
Your office plays a role.
Yes, so we do the trash billing. Not all communities, assessor's office do handle the trash billing. And we took the trash billing over probably about 5 years ago because we had the records to best determine the number of living units to bill out. So for instance, the Board of Selectmen set the trash fee every year, and it's set per living unit. So for instance, if it's $100 per living unit and you have a 3-family home, your bill is going to be $300 rather than the $100. So because we best know the structure of the home size, we're charged with also billing the trash.
Wow. And has that been a chore in itself, trying to get people to understand that sometimes, or are people a lot more savvy than I'm giving them credit for?
Well, you know what I must say, twofold answer. People are becoming more savvy, and we've done a better job over the last 5 years honing the whole procedure. So there was been a lot of improvement on our end, and then there has also been a lot of improvement on the understanding of the folks that we're billing.
Anything that we haven't covered that your office handles, or anything that you want to make sure that we get, because the idea of this particular program is informational and getting folks to better know the assessor's office, know their friend, the principal assessor, stuff like that.
Well, I must say, since the property record cards went online, that was a couple of years ago, we have a lot of our applications now online. We have a beautiful new website, which we love. People being able to access information has definitely cut down on foot traffic and phone calls and people being confused. We feel like we have a fairly succinct page on that website. So that's been wonderful. But I must say, we invite questions. If you have any questions or if there's anything that you don't understand, we pride ourselves in taking the time to make sure that when you leave the office or you hang up the telephone with us, that you understand.
So I guess I wanted to ask you, mentioned about the town website. What's some of the things that you find that's fascinating about this website compared to the old one, and dealing with technology too? Yes.
So first of all, I must say, since Josh McNeil has joined the town of Whitman, I can't say enough about the advance in technology. So our website before, I didn't even deal with it, to be honest with you. I didn't even look at it, and there was not a whole lot of information on it. With the brand new website, all the town departments had a vote in how the website was going to look. We all had input into what we wanted to see on the website. Very collaborative, and I think there's just a wealth of information on that website.
Now, do you have a spot on the website?
Yes.
Is there a way for folks to be able to get in touch with you?
Yes. So if you, we're under departments. You know, The assessors has a page, so every department has their own page and different links to, like that motor vehicle excise abatement form is a link on our website. So if you needed to file an abatement, you could find the form right on the website.
Now, is the website capable at this time? Let's say someone wanted to make a payment on their excise tax. Let's say I got my motor vehicle excise tax bill. I want to pay it. Is the website up to speed that's capable or not just yet?
Well, that's the treasurer collectors, or actually that's the collector's function of the treasurer collector. So I would have her speak to that.
That was clever.
Yeah.
That was definitely good.
Yeah, that was a trick question.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure. But you're right. I should have thought that. I only asked that because I figure you probably have good insight into the website, but you gave a good answer. But as far as hours of operation, because I know that changed last summer, didn't it?
It did. So the office had been open, or the town hall had been open on a staggered shift where there were some folks that worked Monday through Thursday and others that worked Tuesday through Friday. But what happened is because that left some offices with nobody to man the office, or other offices, not enough people to man the office on a busy day, we all now work Monday through Thursday. And other than Tuesday, the office hours are 8 to 4 p.m. and on Tuesdays they are 8 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. So for those folks who work full-time, they're able to, get down to the town hall before 7:30 p.m.
Okay. Any stone that we have not turned over, we got like a little less than 3 minutes left here, and I want to give you every opportunity if there's anything we haven't mentioned, or if you want to give out a phone number or a way to contact you, email, what have you, how can that be done?
So my personal email is my last name and first initial, so it's Keefe, K, at whitman-ma.gov. That's also on the website. Our department telephone number is 781-618-9760. I want to say I have a wonderful staff. I could not be more pleased with the folks that I work with on a daily basis, and we all enjoy what we do. Something different every day, and we enjoy, finding the answers to challenges or things that are not readily apparent.
I have to say, as I'm very impressed. This is your first time being on TV.
It is.
And I think you did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
I think
you made me feel very comfortable.
That's kind of my job.
Yeah, well, you did, yeah.
Hopefully I did my job.
Yeah,
And I want to thank you so much for coming in.
It was my pleasure.
And we got to figure out a way to get you on TV again.
Well, you know what? I will say there's a topic. We do give out real estate exemptions, to certain folks that qualify, and maybe that would be another topic for another time.
Definitely. Well, Kathleen, I want to thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And I want to thank you out there for tuning in and checking out the WHCA and viewing our programs, whether it's here on the channel or on YouTube. If there's something that you miss, we usually try to do our best to upload it. And until next time, have a great day.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.